February 1st, 2014. January 31st, between 10 and 12, my grandson's back now. They flew him back yesterday. Unfortunately, he has all of February and part of March before he's released from the hospital, because he's really, really tiny, and they need to monitor him. So, but he's doing really, really good. If he wasn't doing good, he wouldn't be back. So he's doing really great. So he's been gone for a week, and so everybody's back, and everybody's doing good. So, but by the way of everybody's talking that there's going to be no concerns, no worries. So they just have to beef him up and monitor him because he's so small. So there you guys go. Another update, and I'll keep updating you guys. Ow! I just lost a brain cell. And in that. So yeah. Right from this fin, from the dog leg, all the way back, and one more patch, right here. It's got to go. After I'm done that tonight, this lower half of the quarter panel is done. All the metal work is done, except for the inner wheel well, which I'm not overly concerned right now about it. And then I don't know if I jump onto this or maybe start working on this stuff and just get this whole quarter panel done and that. So, but I did do some dent pulling, which I'll make a video of it because I still have more to do. But I did it here because I want it, because I need to patch it here and I want it to have it in proper shape. But I'll show you guys my my tools for that, what I use. I have a Chicago, I think Tom's Wonderful World has the same machine. He bought his from in the States, Harbor Freight. So this, I've had this thing, I'm telling you guys, for a long, long time. It has never ever gave me a hard time. The trick is always to keep this clean, you know, the copper, keep it clean, because this is your connect. This is, push this in, and this, between this and this, grounds it out and arcs it and melts your welding stud to the car. So that, you know what I mean, that's always got to be nice and shiny and pretty. Never had no problem with it, so there's really no need for another one. I got 3 tools to pull out dents. We'll go with the really aggressive one first. Sliding hammer. It's the one that it doesn't have the little wheel. You actually turn it and lock it on, and it won't slide off the I call them pigtails. Okay, so off the pigtail. So she's locked in there. The only time I use this, if it's really do need this, is when I got really bad dents and I need to get them out. So this way, if they're so bad, I have to get them somewhat shape and then replace the panel. Or if I get it good enough, you know what I mean, then it's bottom fill. I got this little guy here. It's called a T-polar. And how this fella works is, of course, you're going to have your little stud welds or welding studs onto your vehicle. This is the wheel one. Slides in there. It's only going to slide so far, but it slides in there. You roll this back. You give it a tug. Grab your hammer, because when you got a dent or you know, whatever, and you're pulling it out where your dent is, and then you got to tap on both sides and around, because that dent created high spots. So that's what you got to do. So you got to tap it down. Don't assume that you're going to get it 100%. Okay, you're still going to have to put body fill on it, no matter what. I mean, hammer and dolly all you want. So I got that. This is a new addition that I've had for about a year now. And it works, this actually works good. It's not for aggressive dent pulling. It's, how this guy works is, once again, you'll have your pigtail. What it does is, it goes in here, you know, see how far it goes, but you push this guy up, it locks that in place. So this part here, so this is welded to your vehicle. This part here, you just slide it to wherever, right? Let's see it unlocked. I mean, but and then you turn around and you start. It's using the car panel as a support, and this works even better than the T-puller because you got more control with this guy here. So good investment if you're into a whole lot of this. So that's the system right there for pulling dents for me. And what did I put here? 12 of them, 12 studs all the way across. I still probably got another 6 more inches of, but I only pulled what I wanted to pull. I still have pulling over there. Couple of spots I need to get, so I will have a video on that. So, so I'm just going to get my stuff ready, and then it's going to be hammer and chisel, a little bit of shrinking, and then we're going to cut this spot out right inside the door jamb, cut it out, and get rid of this last hole, and then pull the dents, and then I think I'm better off just jumping on top and getting rid of that. I'm going to answer a question about this car. A YouTuber asked if this car is mine. It is mine. I own this car. I got the receipt. I got the ownership. How I came across this car is from a young fellow named Alex. He's from town here, and he likes his Chevys. And he rolled in my yard, asking me if I can go look at his truck, because we're talking shaved handles, gas door. He wants everything shaved off. So I already started that, and it'll be coming back in the springtime to finish it. All the body work, a little bit of body work that's left, and then paint. So that'll probably be the first car that Satajet, or first truck that Satajet's gonna paint. Yeah, so yeah, I do own this car. Exchange of body work. So I didn't have to pay for the car. I do not pay for the material for the truck for Alex's vehicle. And I sent it home, you know, just before snow came, for the reason of Alex would have to heat this place up. So he's just a young guy, and so I said, you know, when it's warmer, we'll bring it back and we'll get it done. So I decided to bring this car in and get on it. Now my goal was to do the floor first, but I did not know I had to get an appraisal on this car first. And then I knew that, so I decided not to do the floor in that, because the worse the car looks, the less it's worth. And then after it's all done, you get an appraisal on it after that. And that's all. But I can't see me just doing this quarter panel make a difference or anything, you know what I mean? It'll improve it a bit, but this car won't be a rolling car by this summertime. There's no way. I'll have one more winter with it, because I'm gonna have all the metal work done, and I'm not gonna do no body work on this quarter. I'm just gonna soak it with that rust stuff, give it a nice coating of that, so this way the panel doesn't start to create surface rust. And then through the summer, I gotta go get some square tubing, you know, 4x4 or whatever, with some tires. Build a frame, support it to the frame of the car, and have it on wheels. Lower my hoist and I'll be able to roll this car, say, to the side. I can still get a vehicle in, or if I want to roll it outside, I can. So, and then when it's time, then I can roll it back in here, lift it up with the hoist again, and then I'm not going to weld this rolling chassis. I'm going to nut and bolt it together. And that's so there. Baby update, family update. The owner of this vehicle showed you a selection of tools that I have for deck pulling, and now I'm going to get ready to do this last batch, and then we'll get into the smaller stuff. This was big work. This was huge. This was a lot of work, and but I enjoyed it. And I like to show stuff like this because I just want to show you guys that you don't have to turn around and pay anybody to do this. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Okay guys, so I'll see you guys in a bit, and I'm gonna get myself ready and we'll get out, man. Ciao. How's it going, guys? You see that little hole there? That's where that guy's gonna go. Now I couldn't put this in the shrinker because it's that's a really tight corner. And that, so I had to release cuts and all that. So she will fit in here, and I just need to get the rest of that off. I'm going to show you guys what I did cut out of there. There it is. Now, I don't know. If you look at this, you can really tell. See, you say, oh, that's just a little bit of rust. No, that's actually holes starting. See, all right here, all up there, right here, and that's what it looks like on the other side. That's rust coming through. So that was a piece, you know what I mean? Got creepy Kelly laying on me. Just taking a break. But yeah, so mocha mocha mocha. This cat comes like fucking better than a dog. Mocha, come on. Come on here. And there she is. I got Kelly here laying in my arm like a baby. Once again, I don't know if I ever tell you guys, but this cat here tends to want to lick inside my nose. Yeah, so does anybody want to hear how I got started on doing body work? Yeah? Okay. So let me see. Well, I remember when I was a child, back in the days when running shoes were made out of fucking wooden bark, you know, the bark off a tree and stitched together, and the wheel was made out of stone, and but anyways, I was one of the unlucky kids to have a father around, even a mother really. You guys will never hear me say anything good about my mom and dad at all. But I remember my mom would ship me quite often when I was younger to Hearst, Ontario. That was where I was born. Smaller than this town, and all French people. It's a French it's up north, French spoken town. And then they got Long Lac and just all those little shitholes. But anyways, so I remember when I go up to go see my dad, which my mom would put me on the train by myself to, yeah. That's how great she was. But anyways, so I remember when I was younger, I don't know how old I was, but that was the year when Evel Knievel was really big then, I guess. And when I was a kid, I got the, you know, I don't know if you guys ever remember that Evel Knievel. He's on his bike and you crank him up, or no, he's the one there where you crank him and then release him and he goes and jumps over things. Well, that was Chris. That was when I got for Christmas that year. So if you guys can remember how many years ago that was. You're falling down there, creepies. Wow, look very comfortable. Falling down here. Oh, my coat gets warmer. Anyways, so I remember. Well, my dad used to chase me around a lot because whatever. I was grandma. Suck anyways. Anyways, so I remember my dad doing body work and that, and you know, getting over what the fuck it really was we were doing. But I remember looking in the window of the garage from outside, him painting a station wagon like the one I had a couple of years ago, and then I don't know. So I'm assuming it was just something in the blood. You know what I mean? Like something that's, I don't fucking know. But I think I picked it up for the reason why is because I couldn't afford to have anybody to, you know, because I buy a vehicle and it's full of holes and it's, you know, it won't pass safety and all that stuff. And look at she, you know, she wants to lick my nose. And that. So anyway, so that's where I started. I didn't know nothing about putting metal in. I didn't know about fuck all about painting, but that's where I started. And so I went a few years like that, and then lost interest of it for a while. And then just for fluke, we were talking about my wife and I getting married, and that's over 20 years ago. And starting off fresh, getting the hell out of Sault Ste. Marie, because I was quite bad. I drank a lot, did a lot of dope, and I'm not proud of it. I don't do neither at all. I have a long time I haven't touched any of that shit. But anyways, the fluke was my dad was living in Thunder Bay, and so you know, got contacted with my dad, and my dad was still doing it. And I don't know, I just took interest in it, and you know, it just went from there. So I learned how not to do body work. I learned how to do body work, and how not to share a garage with your dad and pay half of the bill, and then you get diddly squat out of it. Because my dad was all into buying cars for cheap and fixing them and selling them. And because I was taking interest in it, and he convinced me to rent a garage with him, a big garage, in which I did. Paid half of the rent and half of the hydro of that. I did have my own tools and that, but that is what I got now. But that lasted for a while, and then, you know, my dad kept saying, "Oh, I'll catch you on the next one, catch you on the next one." And enough is enough. You know, that's when I told him, you know, fuck you, you don't do that to family. And I took my stuff and fucking peeled her out of there. I was working nights too at that time. So I never talked to my dad for a long time. So then I ended up finding a house with a garage, and just started fooling around, messing around with vehicles, and that's pretty well how I got started. There was no YouTube, you know what I mean? Cell phones were just fucking starting, and you know what I mean? And the internet was just on the go or whatever, and there was no high speed, it was all dial-up back then. Makes it sound so old, eh? So, you know, so the more vehicle I was doing, and not being guided by anybody, just learning from my own mistakes, and just got so far. And then was, you know, we decided to take off from Thunder Bay, And for some fucking stupid reason, we decided to go down to Surrey, BC. And the girls were young then. We actually have photos of every province of welcome to with the girls in the Chevy truck. My Chevy truck that I had. It used to be white, and then I painted it blue and put Cadillac tail lights and that in. And yeah, so you know, went there, and in fact that was a big mistake. Come to Sault Ste. Marie, back to Sault Ste. Marie to take care of my wife's dad, because he was, you know, he just got hip surgery and all that stuff. But so I wanted to learn more about body work, and I couldn't find a job. Sault Ste. Marie is a bad place to get a job. So my father-in-law, he seen this ad in the paper about a garage for rent, $400 a month. There was no running water, and that was with hydro. So he asked me if I'd be able to make anything out of that. And I said, well, you know, can try. And, you know what I mean? His idea was, you know, when I'm making money, and he can, you know what I mean? So, you know, he hooked me up with the first 2 months rent, and hooked me up with my first air compressor when I moved back here. And then just went on from there, did some vehicles, and you know, and then it just started to be, you know, friends wanted to go there and hang out, and you know, my friend's dad wanted to bring his tools there and fucking use the garage, and so I let it go, because it's like, you know, I've already told these guys, you know, it's not your fucking place, you know, I don't mind if you come here, but you know, I get me to do something, they come over with a box of beer, and I wasn't drinking then. Well, I was, but not. And you know, they'd hang around and get all fucking drunk and stupid, and you know, and then they eventually figured that they could just move in. So I let go of that place. So that's when I decided that I wanted to take body work to another level, and I started applying for jobs at body shops, and wasn't getting anything, but I wasn't the type to stop neither. I continued looking, and it was more like harassing them to hire me. So Mako opened up the door for me. Mako Auto Body, you know, oh, you better get Mako? Yes, I work there. Mako is, they got a bad name because all they don't care about quality, it's quantity. They want, you know, I mean, that's why they're able to do shit cheap or whatever, or fuck, get them out and get them in. Get them in, get them out. Get them in, get them out in the same day. And so it's not so much that it's the workers there, it's just the way the program is run. So I got hired as a prepper. You know, I was the guy after the body guy to clean, you know, walk and shit like that, and mask up and get it ready for the painter. And then I don't know, I wanted more hours. Like, I was full time, but they go around and ask, like, a certain prepper, like a guy that I hung around with, you know, can you hang out and paint the door jambs, so this way tomorrow morning when everybody gets back, the body guy can put it back together. So, and then he, you know, he wouldn't do it, or, you know, he wouldn't, you know, Friday comes, well, can you guys come in on Saturday? And, you know, I'd get there and I'd be the only fucking guy there. And so I guess I must have showed them that I had response, you know, that I was good for my, you know, my word and that. So so I started doing door jams and shit like that, and then I just got kind of pushed into, because my boss asked me, he goes, have you ever painted? You know, I said, well, yeah, I just, you know, unexperienced paint jobs, and, you know what I mean, learning on my own. And he asked me if I wanted to learn, and I was nervous, and so I said no. He was kind of floored that I said no. So he come up to me and he goes, I need to talk to you for a minute. He goes, when someone offers you an opportunity like that, he goes, don't ever say no. He goes, you take that opportunity. So I thought about it and I said, you know what, I'll do it. So first vehicle was a black vehicle. It was off a used dealership, and it was black. And it was not base coat, clear coat, it was urethane. Some, you know, like acrylic enamel and that. One pass, you know, color everything. And black's a hard color to lay out. Many things can go wrong with black. And so he's in the booth with me, and he's making me really nervous. And every time I'm ready to spray, I always put a piece of paper up on the wall, and you know, to set my gun. And I asked him, I said, can I put a piece of paper on the wall? And he said, for what? And I said, well, so I can set the gun. And he's like, yeah, okay, go ahead. So I did it. All like how I've been doing it for the longest time. And you know, when you buy a gun, it shows you, you know, if there's a problem, why it's like this or why it's like that. You know what I mean? It's the nozzles here. So, you know, I mean, I had a nice straight line. And then I would start playing with the paint to make sure I had enough paint. I'd make a pass on a piece of paper. And I did it. A black car. And there was no dry spells, no uneven of the paint. And he was shocked. And that's how I got thrown into painting cars for 4 years. So I learned a lot on painting cars within, you know, within less than a year, because I find that I'm a fast learner, especially when it's something that I have interest. But he just caught me off guard, and I said, no, I don't want to. And so if he would have just let it go, I would have never been painting, right, for a body shop. So I don't know, he must have seen something in me or whatever, and just gave me a chance. So I can't fucking hate him for that, but I can hate him for the way after a while, you know what I mean. But so I learned, you know, a lot. You know, I never knew any body guys ever until I started working for Mako. And so I got to be good friends with the body guys, and made some really good friends. And there was an older guy working there, and he showed me the hammer and chisel thing. And while I was working for Mako, I was doing things in the garage at home too. So yeah, so that's how I got started. So many vehicles I've done a lot of body work, and every time I do it, I just don't jump in, and I give it a lot of thought. Even if it's an overkill like this stupid little thing here, I always give it a lot of thought. I find it's not the best thing to do is just jump into it and do it. And so that's how I got started, and that's how I am where I am now. It's just a passion. It's actually a love-hate relationship, because you know, one day you want to do it, next day you don't, right? So that's how I got where I am, is by not being shy of taking someone else's information and spicing it up a bit, and then YouTube, and then you know, my kids turned me onto YouTube, and they said, no, there's anything, you can find anything on YouTube. So I typed in body work, and that's how I found my friend Pete, who was pretty well the only one I could find back then. He was the body guy. And then James Freddy, photo finish. And then as it went, it was, you know, and then the YouTube Garage Gang started. And back then I was under HPR Auto. And yeah, so that's where I got started. So don't think you need to be in a body shop to learn. What I learned, I'm just, you know what I mean, I'm just happy, you know, that, you know, that it's obvious I'm doing something right for you guys, and that's what it's all about, man. I just want to pass it on, you know what I mean. Like, I'm 45, and And you know, hopefully I'm around long enough to give my grandboy a chance. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of people that ask me, you know what I mean? Can you teach me how to do it? Can't really. There's not enough time in the world to teach anybody. You can guide them, you know what I mean? You can guide them that way, but to sit there, you know, I'm not a classroom. You know what I mean? So, you know, and then when I do get people and I think, okay, and they're like talking like fucking out of their ass, and you know what I mean, and they want a chance, and so I, you know, I say, hey, well, here, you know, I'm not going to get you into the nitty gritty, but you'll learn something off me. And you know, they come for a couple of days and then they don't show up. It's like, fuck. And then they come back and it's like, sorry, man. But you guys stick with YouTube, man. That's where you're going to learn stuff. And like I said, there's body shops out there that are showing people, and I think it's pretty well the same stuff as what we do at home. And that's so. But I'm glad you guys are tuning in my stuff, and all the great comments you guys been leaving about my, you know, even, you know, all the positive stuff about my daughter and my grandson, and you know, and that. So I'm an antisocial person. I really don't like to be around groups of people, and I don't mind one-on-one. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go talk to the guy down the road, but he gets a lot of company coming in, and as soon as they start coming in, and then I feel like I have to leave. So I split, I'm gone. Yeah, so my goal was to have this done tonight, and I don't think I'm going to have it done because, holy shit, it's 9 at night, man. Hey, creepies. Yeah, sometimes I just come in here and I'll turn you guys on, and just sit here and listen to tunes and play with the kitties. But so I guess tomorrow's Sunday, so we'll finish this off tomorrow. We'll get this going. I got a drill in that, and I don't feel like making any more fire. So I'm gonna let you guys go. We're gonna load this up, and hopefully that kind of explains my background, because like I said, I know I do have new people and stuff like that, right? And I just want people to know, you know what I mean, you don't need to want to work in a body shop, because it could be a good experience, but body shops don't really want to give people tries, you know what I mean. But Mako opened the door for me. And the funny thing is, you know, after the, you know, close to the 3 years of being at Mako, another body shop, now, like, that's how small Sault Ste. Marie is, that this other body shop called my house and asked me to go paint for him, and I turned him down. You know, he goes, I'll make it worth your while and this and that, and I said, no, I said, I'm all right where I am, but you know, you wouldn't give me the fucking time of day, and then, you know what I mean, and because I think out of 4 years I might have had to do maybe 2 or 3 vehicles over again. That was it, out of 4 years, because I get like a little sag or wrong color or something stupid, right guys? So yeah, so that's my story of body shop for me, and this is why I got so many, you know what I mean, I learned on what, you know what I mean, I got my body shop on wheels, I got, you know, the proper tools to make things happen now, right? And slowly get them, like the bead roller. It's been so long I've seen it, I forget where it is. Oh, it's still there. You know, my wife bought me the bead roller, and that, and you know, port packs, and just tons and tons of fucking body tools. Shit that, you know what I mean? Like my daughter, you know what I mean, with the Satajet for Christmas. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, I just got this gun here, you know, this guy here, and I like this gun. This gun is a good gun. You know, I don't know if anybody knows, but you know, Rick the Fix and I are pretty good friends, or not pretty good, we are good friends, and I had a DeValvis Plus that I've used for years, and I gave the gun to Rick to fix, and I went and bought that gun there, and that was the last gun that I gave Rick to fix that I was using at Mako, because I bought 3 guns and that, and then I don't know, he had the GTI, and that's the first gun I've ever, you know what I mean, used in an actual body shop, was the GTI. And I did GTI for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and then I went to a Plus, and then I bought another Plus. I sold my first Plus, and then I gave my last DeValvis Plus to Rick to fix. GTIs are made for high volume. You need a lot of air to run a GTI, like for a full car, if you're doing so it's not it's environment friendliness gun, that's what it is. And DeValvis Plus, it's old. What they did was they brought old school back, fucking a gun that pounds the shit right on there and doesn't give a fuck about, you know, about environments, you know what I mean, keeping it green. That's what I think DeValvis Plus is, because you have to move fast with a gun like that. This black gun I got, it's not a fast gun. It's a very slow gun, and I like it, but I got a Satijack, so digital, and we'll give that a shot, you know what I mean. So yeah, so that's where, you know what I mean, for my, you know, my new guys, you know what I mean, like I've done, you know, Lamborghini doors. I put TV screens into the trunk lid of this car, you know, cut and buffed it, you know. I grabbed this here, cut it out, made my own little Bondo, little primer, and there she is, done there. There's me many years ago on, I think that was a 78 4x4, you know, and that was years ago. That was actually, I was still working at Mako. That was funny, this guy here, that guy that owned that car, or that truck, I don't know how the fuck he heard about me, but he went to Mako, and he asked for me, and so I was out there talking to him, and he goes, "Can I help you?" He goes, "No, I want to talk to him." And I was like, and then so my boss turned around and I said, "Man, don't do that." So he come and looked for me, and that's how it is now. Now that's how it is. It's all by word of mouth now. You know what I mean? I turned this Impala into a fucking, you know, almost like a fucking NASCAR. You know what I mean? So Mustangs, you know, plastic. So yeah, you know, anything's fixable. I think so. I think so. If it's worthwhile doing it, you know, do it. Fix it. And don't be scared to try things. That's about the best information I can really give anybody. And keep watching. So anyways, guys, man, this must be a long one. I didn't get anything I wanted to get done really, but got some garage time in. So okay guys, so we're gonna load this up, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.